Cash, and welcome back to Cash Talks Football, where I break down all the goals scored in the Premier League. And today we're doing Liverpool against Manchester City. These games are never quite the big barnstormers as people expect. There's always sort of a little bit of a lull, but lots of interesting talking points. And yes, I'm going to rag on Kyle Walker yet again. If you've been watching my analytics for quite a while, I've been pointing out that he just is not a good defender. He's only got where he is because of his enormous pace. And now that's running out, and he has to look at his defensive prowess and how to read the game and actually have defensive positioning. He doesn't have any of those skills. Never has done. He's just faster than you by so much. Every time he makes a mistake, he can recover. And again, just like the last game and the game before and the game before that, he makes yet another mistake. But thankfully, Pep Guardiola did hold up six fingers, showing us the amount of games it's been since he's got a win, to let everybody know that he's not doing very well. But we are going to pull on a couple of problems with their defensive corners. Now, Liverpool didn't score a goal on their defensive corners, but this is a huge problem for Man City, which of course I know very well. If you look at their defensive shape, they've got everybody back here in the box, right? Sorry, by the 6-yard box. If they're doing this, you cannot allow players to get clean free headers on the ball. They let Van Dijk in this game, I think, get 3, maybe possibly 4 headers from a corners, which you don't want to do. It's like if you're telling me you're going to get Haaland 3-4 headers free in a game, you're going to go, well, he might score on one of those. Let's make sure that we don't do that. A couple of other little defensive things I'm going to show you on the corners. They don't have anybody up here on the D waiting to win the second ball, which again is another problem. That just means really, and on the analytical side of views from Manchester City's point of view, they aren't confident that they're going to win the first ball, because that's why they've got extra players back, right? They don't think they're going to win the header in the box. Otherwise, they would be doing that. So if you know you're not going to win the first header in the box because you don't have enough players back, and then you add the players back, that means you must make sure that you get first contact. Otherwise, there's no point bringing all those players back. So let's just move this forward a little bit and watch Van. We're going to give you a couple of little snippets. Here's one. He's peeled off to the back post. No one's tracked him. As they've played a little 1-2, donk, backwards and forwards, he's still left on his own. No one's tracked him, waiting for the ball to come in. Now you can see, I think it's Nathan Ake, because he actually knows a little bit about defending. He's not good, but he knows a little bit. Is there waiting for this ball to actually try to put some pressure on Van Dijk. But this is the problem. Because he's not with Van Dijk gets to run those extra couple of yards, which gives him the advantage to be able to leap over him and get this header on goal. It is on target-ish, and it hits a post. That's one warning for you. Don't let Van Dijk run at you, jump over the top of you, and actually just win the first contact. That's why you've got these extra players back. And if you look at the framing of how many Man City players are back, you can see there's no Liverpool players almost in this vicinity. They're back here, on the line part. They're actually framing the outside of that centre circle there. But you cannot let Van Dijk get that free header. And if you do, you don't let it happen throughout the game. Let's find out if they do, shall we? So this has and will always be Pep's and Man City's system of plays failures, which is down in the flanks, in the wide areas. Now, they get away with it on the one side because Kyle Walker has had the pace to recover, but on this other side, they never really had the ability to recover if someone's been able to play decent 35, 45 yard ball into that area. Now, the reason they don't normally get punished for that, I'll tell you right now, is because they have enough pressure on the ball. And with that pressure comes these midfielders here. They cannot get their head up and ping a pass 45 yards into the space behind. It's part of the system. We can push up, and the reason we can push up is because we've got enough pressure on the ball. But everybody at Man City's legs seem to have been gone. There seems to be a tiredness through the whole camp. They don't seem to be able to sustain that pressure, so these players can't pick their head up and ping a ball over the top. They've been punished in numerous games, over the last couple of weeks. Go look at some of my other videos and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about, where there isn't that pressure anymore. So people can get their head up and can exploit that space. Well, it never used to be a problem, but you've got twofold problems. One, lack of pace at the back now, and lack of pressure in the midfield. So you've got two things that are at fault. At some point, you have to sort of change what you're doing, because you're going to get constantly punished until you actually change the personnel to give you the fresh legs to actually provide the pressure in midfield, or the legs in behind. And they don't have either. Okay, so as this ball goes across, I want you to take a visual cue of where these two players are. Here's Walker, and here's, I think it's Gakpo that scores the goal, right? Okay, and we've got Mo Salah running in on this ball, bump, no one's going to catch him, he's off. This defender doesn't even try because he knows he's not going to beat him to the ball, and he does the right thing, and I'll show you that now. But I want you to remember that visual IQ of how far these two are apart, that Walker's behind him, he's in front of him ever so slightly. I'm only going to play a little second here because Mo Salah's off at full sprint. This guy's not. He's kind of jogging because he knows this ball is too far wide. Mo Salah's not going to do anything with it here. He can just come back in shape here. Mo Salah will then have to beat him and try to do something and give him time as goalkeeper to get back in. That's the other reason why Man City was so dominant and being able to worry about these balls in behind, because their keeper would come out and clear those dangers. He's not doing that as well. He's lost a turn of pace. He is getting a little bit older, and he's also lost a little bit of confidence because the last couple of times he's come out and done that, he's been beaten. So normally you would have probably seen him fly out and just kick that ball out of bounds and there wouldn't have been an issue. Now we can see this is the first touch that Mo has, and he starts to turn towards the goal. Right, perfect. I've defended great. I didn't have to bust a lung to get down there, and now I'm in a really good defensive position where I can stop him penetrating the box. If he decides to run with the ball, decides to cut it back here, I can try to make a tackle. I can do something. The only thing I might not be able to do is cut out a worldy pass if he makes one. We're 2v1 in the middle, shouldn't be an issue. So now remember that he was in front of Kyle Walker and Kyle Walker was behind him. Now the roles have completely switched, right? And this is what he's doing. He's waiting because this is the dangerous part. It's called the space. If Walker's already here, he cannot attack the space. All right, that's the reason I'm saying Kyle Walker doesn't actually know what he's doing in the game of football here. He needs to be back with it. That's why you have everyone back in a line, right? Because if they're back in a line, that space is gone. That means you cannot pass the ball into the empty space and have the striker run onto it to meet it in the empty space. Because there isn't an empty space, because a player is stood in it. Walker doesn't understand that because he's never had to do that. He's never had to run back and be in a part of his shape. Because what he'll do, he'll track the player and go, well, I'll beat the player because I'm faster than him. So when he tries to run into the space, I'll just kick the ball away. Instead of being in the space, receiving the ball from the cross and then getting rid of it. And this is what ends up happening. So when this cross comes over, Bosch, oh, hold on, get it to the right point. Now Kyle Walker's body position is wrong because now he's running back. The action of running back is as the cross is coming in, okay, instead of already being back and then having to react to the cross. So what's happening is that as he's now running back, well, also Gakpo's running past him at blistering pace, and he doesn't know what to do because all that happens is he stops to be in line with the defenders, and he just runs straight past him and kicks the ball into an empty net. And if he's in line with him, he knows when that run comes, and he's reacting from the point of the line here to clear the ball instead of reacting from here to get to the line. It's two different things. Doesn't understand it, and the ball's in the back of the net. Before you know it, yes, Kyle Walker is the problem for another Man City goal yet again. But don't worry, Kyle Walker's going to mark Van Dijk on this next corner. As the cross comes in, supposed to track his run, supposed to do anything with him and just not let him get a free header. Here you can see Walker's there, there's Van Dijk, all of a sudden, bump, free header. Yeah, can't let that happen. But yeah, that's another chance that Van Dijk has missed. Another free header because Man City's defending is shocking. Just want to show you that point again. There's Kyle Walker behind Van Dijk, who's supposed to be marking him as Van Dijk jumps up for the header. Just not good enough. Trent also gets a shot away, just like I was talking about earlier on the first corner, where everyone's back here defending. There's no one up here to relieve the pressure from the second ball to actually try to get the ball out of touch, into touch or do anything. That's what allows Trent to take a touch, bring the ball down, shoot. Should have done better. He should have put it on target because he's got the ability to do so. Don't worry, here's Van Dijk running around the back. We're going to show you this first clip here because Kyle Walker's no longer marking him, somebody else is. Whoever's tracking him does a poor job because he manages to sneak all the way to the front post and then have another header there. Yeah, so that's 3 unchallenged headers from Van Dijk, who's lost his marker in the box when they've got extra people back to mark to make sure this thing doesn't happen. If you don't think the wheels have fallen off the bus at Man City, have another look. So this pass encapsulates everything that's wrong with Man City. First off, here's our little run. This is exactly where we're looking to play. Out the other side, he doesn't do that. Not only doesn't he do that. His technical ability is so poor here. And this is huge. You might not think it's a big deal, but I'm telling you, playing at this level and coaching at this level, we spot this stuff all of the time. And it comes down to, a lot of the time, it's confidence in the player because we know they can technically do this. And it's the pass. Watch the pass when it hits his foot, okay? Let's just move this forward ever so slightly. Boom, there we go. But do you see it? It kind of chips it. There's 2 things wrong with this. Right, one, he's put it up in the air, which when it's in the air, it's travel time for it to come down and do something. Two, it needs to be on the ground and fizzed because he's going through two players. So not only has he done the wrong thing, he's selected the wrong technique to actually get the ball over here to this player. Not only is his pass selection wrong, we're not worried, we can be worried about that. He can select the wrong pass, which he's done here, as long as he uses the right technique and fizzes the ball down to this guy here, he fizzes the ball back over here. He doesn't. He kind of scuffs it, bonk, it bounces off him, and he doesn't make any sort of clean contact. Now, this isn't the one that Liverpool steal to go in and get the goal, but this is immediately a red flag if you're a coach that, oh my God, that player's in trouble because he's not confident, he's selecting the wrong techniques, he's not seeing the whole picture, something's wrong with him, we need to change him ASAP. So this is also shows you a little bit of crisis confidence at Manchester City. When the ball comes down, headed, ninja past here. Now, you want to get this ball down and you're facing this way, you need to play that goalkeeper, get the ball out the other side as fast as possible. Now, what's the only reason you're not passing back to your goalkeeper? It's because you don't have any confidence in the goalkeeper's going to do the right thing. You're Man City. You always do the goalkeeper. You'll be passing into him in the 6-yard box with a striker down your neck. You're not worried about doing that. Well, why are you not doing that? Because you've got no confidence as a team. It's the only reason you're making such a horrific mistake like this. When this ball comes down here, he's trying to turn it. Now, this is one of the huge things. If you want to be a good midfielder or actually a good player in general, your back is to the field. You do not turn into pressure. You will lose the ball at any standard. If you try being clever and turning into the pressure, you will lose the ball. You might get away with it because you're more skillful or they're just not quite adapt and you might be able to do a little bit of a skill or a little bit of a, step over on the ball here to get away. But as a rule, you need to play the keeper because that's the way you're facing. Your body shape was wrong when the ball came over. You're completely inadequate for this and you should have just dealt with it in the first place. Now here's the key. Kyle Walker. Another player running for the ball. Look how many yards ahead he is. Kyle Walker's going to win it, right? Right? Because all he's going to do is try to play the ball or run off with the ball into this open space. He's got this massive gap of open space here. He knows Mo Salah's facing this way, so any little touch, Salah's not going to be able to spinny run, turn around, get back over here and make a tackle because all of his momentum is going this way. He cannot turn fast enough. So all you've got to do is keep your pace going because clearly you're going to outpace this guy because you're what's that? Maybe 1, 2, 3, maybe about good 4 to 5 yards in front of him. Easy. But because of Nunez's little interference there on the floor as he's going down trying to win the ball, Kyle Walker isn't quick enough with his feet, doesn't get the ball out of trouble, doesn't do anything, and all of a sudden he's in major trouble. Now here's the thing, if he stayed on his feet and just kept running with the ball, he would have put in a tackle. But because he can't defend properly, he's immediately tried to go to ground and thinking that he's going to get the ball. Luis Diaz is a little bit more skillful, a little bit younger than him, a little bit more in his legs, and just goes over him like he's not even there. There we go. And away they go. Now they're looking for an offside or for some foul instead of just defending properly. You could have passed it to your keeper. You could have just kept running and made the challenge and not have Diaz skin you. And now it's just a 1v1 with a goalkeeper. Here's a clear foul. Yeah, it's a penalty. You knew it was coming. But again, this goes down to the goalkeeper not being on top form. And every tiny little thing matters. And it all slowly starts building. So all of a sudden, you've got 5 or 6 things wrong and not one thing wrong. Well, Rodri's not in the middle. Okay, then that makes another thing happen. That exposes Kyle Walker and his pace. And then that makes another thing happen because my keeper starts playing poorly. And that makes another thing happen. And slowly but surely, all of those little cracks become a gaping chasm. You ask Man United fans, they've been going through this for about 9 years. Now, penalty, Mo Salah, what do you think happens next? He does what Mo Salah does, puts it into the net box, quality penalty, goes away for a celebration with a cop. Just like I was explaining down the other end with John Stones, here's Virgil van Dijk making the exact same mistake. All he's got to do is pass it to his keeper. His keeper keeps it nice and easy. Van Dijk tries to use a little bit of skill, turn into the pressure. Don't think Kevin De Bruyne even expects the ball here. Just almost shocked that he's got the ball. As it comes in, just Dumpf bounces off Kevin De Bruyne because he's turned into pressure. You can't do that. You're going to lose the ball. Kevin De Bruyne wasn't even trying to tackle you. You just ran into him. Giving the ball to him, he should have scored. Kevin De Bruyne with confidence right now, first touch would have been in the back of the net, bump straight over the keeper, no questions asked. Not the same anymore. Everything's changing and the Premier League title is going to change with it. Other than that, I'll see you next time on Cash Talks Football.